He got problems, she got problems. Only I got 411 problems. Hey, hi, what's up, y'all? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. And welcome to another story time. And welcome to the secret grocery store trip. Okay. So on my channel, I know, and like I see like the little hints and the little, subs on Facebook and people who watch my channel, especially when I talk about marriage. Y'all, if you this is how I know people really don't pay me any attention. Because you've never heard me say that I've planned a wedding, that I've planned marriages, that oh my God, I'm planning my wedding in my head. You've never heard me say any of that. You've never heard me say I love playing with baby dolls and I got that picket white fence and all the others. You've never heard me say that because my childhood was never that. My childhood was taken at 7. Those who paid attention and listened to my stories know I was assaulted at 7. My assault started at 7 and then stopped till I was 14. So that little white picket fence dream type situation, or the goal was always to be married, was never my goal. It was never my goal because I've watched multiple people, not just my grandmother, not just my mother, but I watched multiple people lose themselves once they got married. And I listen to people now who are married who say it's not necessary. Partnership is great because I say that. I see people who have wonderful partnerships. And y'all like to base stuff off white people. So Goldie Hawn, you see Goldie Hawn, she's like, I don't want to do the marriage thing. But she have a great partnership with her partner. See Oprah, great partnership. Oh, buddy ain't going nowhere. Oh, buddy ain't going nowhere. But she's a woman who says she never wanted to be married. That has never been on her plate. That's never been something that she wanted to do. I listen to a woman who is married right now, who enjoys her marriage, but has always said on repeat, even now, baby, if I have to go back and do it again, I would not be married. We would be together, but I would not be married because it's not necessary. Someone can agree to be monogamous to you. You don't need a piece of paper. A lot of y'all feel like because he's your husband, you get, if he just so happened to pass away, and the side chick over there, it's like, girl, you get nothing. I get Social Security. I get this. I get that. Not if that man was smart enough to go to a lawyer and say, oh no, everything go over there, and you get nothing. Because there's paperwork that you can do that you don't need to be married, where his assets and whatever, however he wants to divvy up and divide it, he can go to his lawyer and have all that squared away. The power of attorney doesn't necessarily have to be you. He can make the power of attorney his mother or his daughter or his son or his brother. Doesn't have to be you. So the efforts in the thing that y'all put into marriage, what I keep repeatedly saying is there's absolutely nothing wrong with marriage. If your marriage is beautiful and you and your partner enjoying it, because there are good marriages out there. I'm not talking to you. I'm not. What I'm saying is please stop feeling like a woman loses her value because she's not married, because a man didn't pick her, which is why they're calling women pick me's, because you feel like you need to be picked. You're willing to destroy another woman, go above and beyond so you will be picked. You're willing to side with the man no matter what he does because you want to be picked. That's my whole point. That's what my mom and my grandmother was making sure, like, make sure if you do it, realize that it's work. And it's not the fairy tale, that the BS and the stuff that they're feeding you on the TV, or this white picket fence and this dream. And once I get married and we move in and all this stuff comes together, because you take on his debt or he take on your debt, you take on each other's stuff. It's this big major merging of a contract. And to get out of it is hell, as y'all see. When people start getting divorced, it can get nasty or it can be amicable. But most of the time you see it's a fight, especially when it comes down to money. And in this day and age, because women are now have rights, and your value is not based upon your man, because back then when we ain't have no rights, the only way you could get things, it had to be through your man, which is why a lot of them want you to submit, because they like the old school stuff where you can be seen and not heard, no matter how smart you are. Even though you can count better than him and you can manage the money better than him, he made the money. You couldn't buy nothing. If you went to the store without his permission, or without him letting the store clerk know, like, my wife is coming to purchase certain things, they would have to get in contact with your husband. Because during those times, black people's marriages wasn't even being recognized. That's why they jumped the broom. But white women, who seem to love like the racist banter, because they benefit from it, because most of the time during those times they didn't have no rights either. Not most of the time. They didn't have no rights either. They had to sit back and watch their husband cheat while he assault the slaves that he liked, which is why you have mixed children. And those were the ones who were brought in the house because those were his children. And she had to deal with the one that he liked, because the one that he liked had to be near him. And she couldn't say a word. Why? Because you hold no value. Even with you being Mrs., you held no value. You had no rights. Whatever he say goes. Even after that, white women, you were only good for having kids so they could work the farm and the fields to feed the family. And if and when you had a sick baby with the birth defect or Down syndrome, those babies were considered low stock. And if you had one of those babies, that's when and only when you were able to stop having children. You did not decide when and if you could stop having children. And then they wrapped it all up in the Christian value way, which is why they tell you the right way to do it is to go get your education, finish school, work, and then you get married and have children. That's the right way. And you see a lot of women who will come on here and tell you, even though she did it the right way, she's still a single married woman, because he sit down and don't help her with the kids. You ever seen what you call it? He call it pranks, but I call it reactions, where he's going and he's helping the women in the grocery store, like they man standing right there, but they can't reach the top shelf and he pulling the stuff down, and then they get like, what you doing? And he's like, you standing here, why you not helping her get? There was one I saw, was this girl was lifting up like the 35 pack of water, and he's standing there. Her husband. Because when the dude picked it up, he was like, what's up, pretty? Can I get your Instagram? He was like, I'm her husband. He said, you her husband and you ain't lift up this water? And he had nothing to say. He was Caucasian. He was standing behind her, watching her pick up the water. Anyway, a lot of times during this time, before I went to my aunt, my grandmother was watching me while my mom went to work, while my siblings went to school. My grandmother was watching me. I absolutely loved it. Loved it. As I told y'all, that's when the tea was coming on. I also learned that's when the tea would come in because she would have her friends come in and I would get all the gossip that was going on in the streets. I would also learn listen by listening. I also learned about, her herbs and her being a healer. I also learned about In the Heat of the Night, Judge Wapner, Victor Newman. If you know, you know. Oh, and let's not forget Reba. Reba was giving them hell, honey. Giving them hell. So anyway, yeah. So, my bad. Stephanie and Brooke, the Clash of the Titans. So in this order, In Heat of the Night, Price is Right, Young and the Restless, As the World Turns. I'm sorry. Back up. Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, As the World Turns, God and Light. That was the lineup. And especially if you was homesick. That's what you was watching. And baby, I didn't mind. Didn't mind at all. Because they would tell you, like, if you sick, you can't go outside, baby. I didn't mind at all. Because I promise you, it was more entertaining listening to my grandmama and her friends and watching the TV than it was going outside and being in the hot sun while all the kids was at school. And even when they came home, baby, I'm sick. I'm sick. We'll be at my grandparents' house all the time. So at this point in time, I'm at my grandparents' house. I'm at my house. I'm at my grandmother's house with my grandma. And at this point in time, my granddaddy, as I told y'all, he's a commercial fisherman, but also my granddaddy is very handy. He's a jack of all trades. He can maneuver. He's built houses. He can do plumbing. He can do a lot of stuff. And back then, it was more of you didn't go to school because my grandfather had to drop out. If you listen to this story, where the call with my aunt, you would hear my grandfather had to drop out of school in 3rd grade and had to start working. So a lot of the stuff that he learned by being passed down on. It wasn't any books. It wasn't any university. It wasn't even no tech schools, no none of that. He actually had to, pick it up. You need to know how to survive. And I found out during that conversation, he was a bondsman slave. Basically, a family owned him. He had to do work, basically. Yeah. Yeah. So my grandmother was a maid. So during this point in time, I think my grandmother is not working in being a maid anymore at this point. She's pretty much a stay at home, but this is when she would sell like cakes or whatever. She was a very good baker. She was a very good cook. So at this point in time, like I told y'all, telling y'all, like my grandmother would say, and they had been married, let's say, I'm gonna give them in this era, at this point in time of my age, I would say 45. It probably was close to 50. But they were married 50 years before my grandmother passed away. Maybe over 50. But at this point in time, we're in the 45-ish era. In that era, 45-ish, leaning close to 50 era, right? And this is during the time when my grandmother is telling me, don't put your everything in a man. Make sure you get your education, because my grandmother had to drop out of school in 7th grade to work and help the family. So the little things that we take for granted and how we walk around here, where we always feel like we my man, like we always have to have that, and which is why I don't feel like I have to have it. So when dudes do certain things, I don't react the way that they think I'm going to react, because I know exactly who I am and what I bring to the table. And if you decide to go somewhere else, I wish you well. Because you, as I repeatedly tell y'all, I pour so much into me. Whenever whoever walk out that door, Angel, don't her self-esteem, who she is, anything that is a part of me, don't walk out with him. So I still wear perfume. I still dress up. I still think that I'm pretty. I still think I'm the finest walking. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to feel that way about yourself. You can't allow somebody to pour that into you where you lose you so bad when they walk out or they decide to leave or they decide to play in your face because it's like, oh, this didn't work out, so I'm gonna come back over here. Nah. Nah, I mean, if I want you to, that's a different story. But if I don't, gone on. You know what I'm saying? And so when you walk out, like you ain't gotta see me act a fool. You don't know what the hell. What the hell? You don't know what's going on. You looking baffled and dumbfounded to the point where you watching me. No need for you to walk on pins and noodles, boo. I said what I said and I'm done with it. You feel me? So, yeah, so it's like that's what my grandmother instilled. Married. That's what my mother also reiterated. And she would always say, look at your mama. Do not feel like you need to settle for a man. Make your own money. Get your own place. Do not feel like you need to depend on the man. Because every time my mama was done with a dude, he had to get out. He had to go. He had to go. She didn't have to find a place to go. He had to go. Yeah. So anyway, so my grandma, was reiterating like repeatedly, get your education. They didn't have an opportunity to do that. Make sure you get your education. Make sure you get your own money. The same thing my mom was saying too. So at this point in time, my grandmother did not drive like that. My grandfather drove her everywhere. On outside looking in, my grandmother, according to the ladies, was spoiled because my grandfather could do all this stuff. Girl, you so lucky. And the whole time he a cheater. He a cheater. And I love my poppy. Nobody can replace him. But one thing's for certain. Two things for sure. My grandmother's always told me you got to be honest with yourself. And baby, he was a cheater. And I don't love him any less, but it is what it is. Right? And at this point in time, like I'm picking up stuff. Like I told y'all, I'm picking up stuff, which is I feel like how Tyler gets that from me. Like you sit back, you watch, you pick up stuff, which is what I told him to do. But the more quiet you are, the more you hear people talk, the more you listen to people talk, the more you learn. I tell people that all the time. Which is why most of the time I'm sitting back observing, putting two and two together. So anyway, so like she needed to go to the grocery store because she didn't drive. And so she had already told him, like, I need to go to the grocery store. So you need to be back here by a certain time so you can take me to the grocery store. My grandmother taught me you don't wait until everybody wake up. You go to the grocery store early in the morning. I had a coworker and she was like, girl, why do you get up early in the morning to go to the grocery store? My grandmother taught me. Certain reasons. Because I don't even want to tell y'all because then y'all start doing it. No, there are certain reasons. You go to the grocery store. I'm not telling y'all. Because y'all, Anyway, the certain reasons you go to the grocery store early. And then when I told her, she started doing it. My coworker, she started doing it. She was like, oh. So my grandmother told me this is what to do. That's why I do it. And so she was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And so that's how I maneuver to this day. So she needed to go to the grocery store and she wanted him to be back because she's like, I want to be, at the grocery store before 12 noon. Well, mind you, she calling, certain places where he said he would be, and you're not answering. When she called, they come, no, he ain't been here. No, he ain't been here because he would go to certain places because certain properties he would keep. Like he was the manager of the property. Because at this point in time, white people, got, the land or whatever. And so a lot of these riverfront properties, my granddaddy was the manager of. So he would go to these properties and, like check on it, make sure nobody had broken in, nobody's stole nothing broken, the pipers and stuff is working. Because sometimes I used to go with him. And he used to check stuff because he would be the ones who would install the plumbing in the houses or he had built the houses. So At this point in time, like she calling and they saying like, well, no, he not here, he not here. So at this point in time, my granddaddy, like he worked, he had a truck and a car. So the car they drove to church or when they was going like nice places. But when he was maneuvering and working and going on the, on the shrimp boat or whatever, on the fishing boat, he would drive his truck. So he was in his truck and the car is sitting outside. At this point in time, my grandparents has a orange Caprice. My aunt don't remember this car. I remember this car. Because that was also the car they was trying to teach my cousin Tasha how to drive in. Child, I don't know what be wrong with my people. Tasha had Down syndrome. She was Down syndrome, but knew every song, knew every song on the radio, was introducing me to stuff. She introduced me to Tanya Blanc. So, yeah. So it was like, it wasn't, she had Down syndrome, but, she was around us. So we didn't treat her like with this extra special care type. We treated her just like normal, like we treated each other. You know what I'm saying? Like we talked to her just like we talked to each other. So the only way you would know she was Down syndrome is you look at her face. But if you listen to her talk, you know what I'm saying? She loved to dance. All of that. So anyway, at this point in time, my grandfather has this orange Caprice. And my grandma was like, forget it. Come on, Angel. That's what both of my grandmothers call me, Angel. Angel is my name, but they call me Angel. I don't know. Maybe it was the accent, but it was Angel. Come on, Angel. Come on. Get in this car. That was the accent. So I'm looking like, because I know my grandfather is the one who drives her. And it's like, so I get in the back seat. She gets in the car, in the driver's seat. We back down the hill. My grandparents have a hill, and they would park on the hill, like right in front of their house. When y'all see me in the vlogs and I show, like I'll be like, that's where my grandparents' house was, because their house burned down. So, and their house was right by my mom's house. So it was a hill, and then it was another little section. Like my granddaddy would come up the hill, and then he'll cut to the right to park his truck. So the main car would be sitting here, and then he would cut to the right, like to park his truck right there. So we're backing down the hill. I'm in the back seat, scared for my life, because I know my grandmother does not drive. She backs it up, and when she backs it up, like we're still on the side, like in front of her house, but she's getting ready to pull out. And when she pulls out, she almost pulls out in front of a transfer truck, of a four-wheeler, big rig. Not a four-wheeler, a big rig. She almost pulled out in front of them. They're blowing the horn. She slammed on brakes and said, "Oh shit." That was the very first time I heard my grandma curse. So she sit there for a minute. Because number one, she frustrated. Two, she already told you to have your behind back here so she could go to the grocery store before 12 noon. So she mad at you anyway. And at this point in time, looking back, she knew where you was. I'm a kid. She knew where you was. So you sat there for a minute. And when you sat there, you looked in the rearview mirror and said, "Don't tell your mama." So I ain't saying nothing. I'm just looking. Because I know we're not supposed to be in this car, lady. So you pull out, because the grocery store is not far. It's literally, for beginner drivers, it's not that far. If you take your time, it's not that far, really. But my grandma don't drive. But y'all, she took her time and we made it to the grocery store. So we in the grocery store. While we in the grocery store, like she walk in, and of course everybody know her, just like it was with my mom. Everybody know her. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know her. They speak. is a certain amount of respect my grandmother would have or whatever. And at this point in time, I didn't realize they knew her because she was a maid and you was cleaning their houses. I didn't know that. I didn't know she was a maid. I just thought, you know what I'm saying, they knew her because she was in the community. Had no idea. But even though they still gave her like respect or whatever because they would speak to her. They would speak to her. So anyway, so she's did a usual routine and she's teaching me also how to grocery shop. So she was like, you go over here to your fruits and vegetables first, and then you go around here, you're looking at your lunch meat. She was like, you really want to kind of keep your cold stuff kind of last because you don't want like your ice cream and you don't want it to be out too long because you want to go ahead and get to the, get home and get it and put it in the refrigerator. She was like, so you try to hit like your canned goods and all that stuff first, your cereal and all that stuff. And anytime she went to the store, I could get whatever I want. And so it was like, go ahead and pick out what you want. But she knew if there wasn't any strawberries in the back in our garden, I was getting strawberries from the grocery store. So she got my strawberries. And she would cut my strawberries up and put sugar and stuff on them and have them just right. And then also give me some Cool Whip. That would be my little snack along with other things. Mind your business. Anyway, so yeah, so she's doing her normal rounds. And so we're on the aisle where it's literally like the baking stuff. Because as I told y'all, like for her to do like a little extra money on the side, like her hustle on the side was selling cakes. Her cakes were very good. Because she used to sell a lot of them. So, especially her pound cake. So we're in that aisle and a lady comes up and starts walking. And when she noticed my grandmother, she did a U-turn out of the aisle. And I hear my granny say, And so I'm peeping, right? Peeping. And so she continued, shopping. And then we get to the next aisle. She continued shopping, get to the next aisle. The lady is coming up. My granny is coming the opposite way. And so they finally, like, because I guess the lady at this point is like, I can't really avoid you because she's in the middle of the aisle and my granny is walking up. And so my granny walks up. She said, the least you can do is speak. And so the lady said, how you doing? And took off. And I'm peeping. Because this is not the normal interaction that my grandma usually had with people. It's usually a long chitter chatter type situation, cackling, what the Lord has did and all this other stuff. So it's like, that wasn't normal for me. So we get in the car, and by the time we get to the car, by the time she get through shopping, because it took my granny a long time to shop. It did. She took her time and she made sure she was getting everything she needed to prepare because, like I said, she sold cakes and then she was getting stuff for me. She was getting stuff for the house, stuff to cook. She was doing like it was a system that she had, but it did take her a long time to shop. So by the time we got to the register, my granddaddy comes in the store. And so he was like, what you doing? Like I was coming. She said, what time is it? And he got silent. I was like, peeping. So the lady rung up the groceries. My granddaddy paid for the groceries and we go into the car. So she go on the passenger side, my granddaddy get in the car where you can see like, his truck is parked over there. And so he had done put the groceries in the car. And so we driving back to my grandparents' house. And so my grandmama always told me, she was like, the man bringing the grocery. So he was there. He brought in the grocery. Basically, she went on in the house. She was like, I put it up because I know how I want my kitchen. But he would bring, basically bring the grocery out of the car. So while he, was bringing in the groceries, she was putting the grocery up. So once he got done putting that stuff up, he was like, now you know you're not supposed to be driving. You could have put you and that baby in danger. She said, what time is it? And he got silent. And so she said, how did you know I was at the grocery store? He said, well, I saw the car when I passed by. She said, oh, you saw the car when you passed by? He said, yeah, I saw the car when I passed by. She said, oh, your little lady didn't tell you? Mind you, I'm sitting watching TV. I told y'all, when you in a child's place, you gotta act like you're not listening. But I was ear hustling. And so she said, your little lady didn't tell you? I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? Because baby, I want to see your facial expression, because I'm being put on to wait a minute. Wait a minute. You cheating on my grandmama? So he was like, Daisy, no, no, no. She was like, oh, okay. Okay. She said, well, I saw your little lady in the store. I told her the least she could do is speak. Because if she gonna keep you past the time when I tell you to be here, the least she can do is speak. He said, I wasn't, she said, the least she could do is speak. My granddaddy got his keys and left. Y'all, and I'm sitting there baffled because it's like, you ain't got nothing to say. Like, you ain't got nothing to say. And to me, it was like I understood certain things and certain dynamics that I saw that I didn't understand, that she never said out of her mouth. Right? And I was able to pick it up. And so because of that, everybody was making this huge deal about her driving. And my mom was like, nah, I can't leave Angel here. Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. Which is what my grandma said, because she was like, you can't be driving like you can. Y'all could have hurt y'all. You could have hurt both of y'all. Y'all could have hurt yourself. And so, my grandma was like, yeah, I understand, but I need to go to the grocery store, and your daddy wasn't here when he was supposed to be. And I have cakes to make. So she was like, I can't leave Angel here. She said, that child ain't going nowhere. And I didn't go nowhere for a little while until my grandma got sick. Then I ended up going to, at my aunt's house. And then after that, it was to school. But yeah, that's the story time of the secret grocery trip. When she found out, basically, she saw the side chick at the grocery store, child, and made that lady speak. The least you can do is speak. Yeah, baby. Don't try it, because I ain't that. I'm the type, with your man coming over there and he somehow got amnesia and forgot he was your man. Don't come to me as no damn woman. Check your man. Okay? Because there's a reason he's being let in. And that means he ain't claiming you. Anyway. I love you most because you're definitely the dopest in real life, and I'll see you in the next one. That ponytail was bothering me. It's time for me to do my hair. Bye.